Well, today we are going to start high moisture corn. So I've got the hammer mill that's parked inside this old barn here, and then we got the roller mill sitting right there. We use the roller mill on the silo. We bought this hammer mill last year, and we'll use this to put high moisture corn into the bunk. This old barn here, I've had this in videos in the past here. We used to put small bales in this barn. Oh, not too long ago, held 12,000 bales. Right now we're standing on the driving floor. And there was 4 mouths, and they each held 3,000 bales apiece. The gentleman that owned this farm prior to us buying it here in the early 80s, they used to put grain up in the upstairs part of this barn. And I don't think they put too many bales of hay in here, but they had kidney beans and stuff like that they piled on the barn floor. So we're gonna get this home here, run a grease gun around it quick, just kind of check it over. We kind of did a half-ass service on it here prior to putting it away. There was a bearing that we ended up replacing right here on the tail end of the hammer shaft there, and it basically got serviced before we put it in here, but we just want to grease things again and make sure everything is good to go on it. And we'll get combining here in a little while and get a load back here and get a load run through it. We've got the bunk all cleaned out, right bud? And little man here is going to be spreading some box stall manure today, huh? So we got to get you back and get you working, huh? All right, so we're going to get this back to the farm and get it set up. It's probably going to be a little bit of a mongrel to get it out of here. I don't know if I can go out through and out that door, or if I got to wiggle it around and back it out this door here. So we'll just have to see how it goes, right, Bob?
It says it's got 14 volts, so
this belt here is like fully not on there. It doesn't look like it's been on there for a while.
oh, it's got 2 others.
Yeah. It's sitting there idle. Well, I was doing what's called a half-ass service job on this, just kind of checking it over. And I started up front with a grease gun, and I kind of worked my way back to the back end here. And as you can see, when I took that cover off, this belt was just kind of laying in there. Well, I'm kind of looking at things. I don't really know where this grease zerk is for this bearing and the bottom bearing. And I glanced in there, and this belt was kind of hanging in there, hanging out, not really doing anything. And it's been like that for the better part of last season. And we need to get this put back on there. So, yeah. So we'll have to take the tension off of that spring there, get that belt back on there, and get it on there the way it's supposed to be. It doesn't look like it's been setting in the right place there for quite a while. So we've got a little bit left to do as far as service on this, and then we'll be able to get it set up. We ended up chewing up a set of belts here last year. So we had to replace these. I don't know, is there 8 of them? I think there's 8 of them, and I've got a box of belts. 4 spares, but I don't think I have any spare belts for what is on the back end here. So we'll have to get a set of these. This belt doesn't look too bad. Doesn't do a whole hell of a lot. And there's 3 of them on there anyway, so it looks like you can get away with running 2, and 1 is just a spare. All right, so we were able to get a pry bar in there. Kind of overworked the spring, get the belt on there. And I don't think that grease zerk has been getting any grease. Because if that grease zerk was getting grease, I think one of my guys would have noticed last year that belt wasn't on there. So I need to replace an end on the grease gun. We'll just grab one of these ends here. And it seems like these ends, doesn't matter what kind you get anymore, just do not last. And no, lock and lube is not the answer. We used them for a while here, and they don't work at all either. I think I've got some of these lock and lube ends here in this toolbox. Here's one here, another one there. There's got to be a 3rd one here somewhere. But they don't work either. So I don't know what anybody's using for ends anymore, but these ends, it doesn't matter if you're using a 3-jaw or a 4-jaw, they just do not seem to hold up. I've had them blow apart as quick as using them on, you know, just after you replace them. So I've got to get a new end on here because this one is not locking on the actual grease zerk. We haven't had any luck with grease gun ends, have we? No. No. So, yeah. All right, back to greasing. We have our end replaced on the grease gun. Now, this one here I did not grease. That was greased before it was put away last year. There's one down in here on this auger universal. That one's got grease. And it looks like every other grease zerk has been greased other than this one here. And then there should be one down on the bottom there too. So we're gonna toss some grease in that one. And I gotta figure out how to get to that bottom one there, and then we'll back the 7930 in here. We'll run it for a little bit. Make sure that belt is gonna stay on there. This tensioner pulley itself, it seems to have walked forward. It doesn't seem to, it might have to be tweaked a little bit in order for that belt to ride on there. As you can see, there's not much pulley there hanging off the end of the belt. However, pulley on the inside there, there's probably 3/8 of an inch. But we'll have to run that. That might get itself into place here. I don't know what I've got going on there. I might just have to tweak that guy a little bit there. So let's get some grease in this one, and I've got to figure out where the zerk is on this bottom here. I don't know if it has a grease line that goes to it or what, but let's keep at it here. All right, we have this all serviced up and ready to go. We do have to keep an eye on this rear pulley here. This belt had been off of there, and we don't know how long it was off of there. There's not a grease zerk on this lower pulley shaft. What that is a right angle gearbox. I checked the oil on it just a minute ago. That's good to go. Now, this is our 2nd year with this unit. We really didn't do a thorough service on this at the beginning of last year because it was basically new, and all that stuff had already been done prior to receiving it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run this and we're gonna make sure this belt stays on. It had walked off this tensioner pulley, and this tensioner pulley has shims in behind it, or actually in front of it here, and that will allow us to move it over a little bit. We might have to do that. There's not much of a gap or any room on the back side of this pulley. However, there is a fair amount of room on the front side. So we had a grease circ on this U-joint shaft here for the auger. We went ahead and greased that. I don't know if they had greased that last winter before we put it away or not. And this is a hammer mill. We have a roller mill and a hammer mill, and what this is it has pieces of flat stock. They're about this long. You can kind of see them in here. You can see that there. And then this shaft spins really fast. There's, what is there, 3 or 4 rows. Looks like 3 rows of hammers on there. And the corn drops in the top. We've got this screen here. And what that hammer does is it pounds the corn through these holes. We've got different size screens to use. And the drier the corn is, the tighter the screen that you can use. In other words, the smaller, you can use the screen with the smaller holes in it. We have, what is there? It goes from 3/16 to 3/8. We've got 3/16 quarter, 5/16, 3/8. What do we got? We've got 4 or 5 screens here at any rate. The 5/16 screen is in there right now, and the finer you can grind the corn, the better it is for the cow. So we'll have to monitor that. The wetter the corn is, the larger screen hole, the larger hole size screen you need. So we're going to try that 5/16, and what we'll have to do is check the corn. If it's getting hot, that means it's staying in that drum too long, and once it heats up at all as you're processing it, it'll end up plugging that screen. You burn your belts up. Then you got to start with a screen that has larger holes in it. Now the roller mill, the concept behind the roller mill is there's 2 small, no, they're not small rolls, they're probably 8 or 10 inches in diameter, and they've got somewhat of a chevron design to them. They have real tight tolerances. In other words, you can't fit a kernel of corn down in between the 2 rolls, and what that does is it cracks the kernel, it mashes it. It does not do as good of a job as the hammer mill. You want to use a hammer mill on drier corn and a roller mill on the wetter corn. Now, you can get this unit here with a blower on it that'll fill the silo. We really don't want to put this corn in the bunk or the silo any drier than, say, 27% moisture. It's kind of backwards with the way we're going to start with doing corn here, because we're going to be starting with wetter corn going into the bunk, and we're using the hammer mill. And then as we go on through the fall here, we get the bunk full. We get down to the point where we got enough corn to fill the silo. The silo's not empty yet. We use the roller mill, but that's got the blower on it. We could use this. It would kind of be a Rube Goldberg setup, but we could use this to dump into a blower and blow it up the silo. The reason why I bought this was it would do a better job, and it had its own auger unit on there to get over the bunk wall. Past years we've used our roller mill. We take the blower off, put an auger in underneath it, and auger it over the wall, but it's a pain in the ass because we've got to shut down, put the blower back on, fill the silo, and then we like to go back to the silo in a couple, 3-4 days, and we can't do that because we need to go back to the bunk. We'd have to sit still. We'd have to put the blower on, take it back off and go back and forth. This way we can start in the bunk, go to the silo when the silo's full, or when the silo's empty, fill the silo, go back to the bunk, and then go back to the silo a couple of different times. We do have a regular blower that you would use for haylage or corn silage to put that in an upright. We could set that up if the corn gets too dry and just auger right over into the blower like I was saying, or just use the roller mill and dump it through the roll. So let's go ahead and start this up and see if we can't keep them belts on there, or if they do fall off, we'll have to come up with something different to get that belt to stay on there. Well, we've got this kind of set up now. What we need to do is get it in place, and we got to get inside the bunk and turn that metal spout down over the wall. I can't have it positioned now because I need to get it over the wall first. So we'll get this placed, and we'll have to have somebody lift me up in the telehandler or something so we can turn that spout. Well, we are all set up and ready to go here. We had to bring some stone in just because the concrete is all tapered that way. We want to make sure we have the trucks on the level when we're dumping them here into the hammer mill. So this pad here is quite a bit higher than the bunk here down below. So we're just kicking that over the wall, and then we'll be able to push it towards the back of the bunk here. So that spout there is probably a good, I don't know, 17 feet off the ground or so. And it makes it nice putting it in this lower bunk here. Now what we've done in the past, we have set the roller mill up here before, and we had dug a hole in the dirt right here, set the auger in there, backed the roller mill up to it. Corn would come out of the roller mill. Right here, it would drop down through the rolls, and it would come out through the auger, and we had this auger set up on the roller mill so that would go into the auger that's currently coming out of that silo there. So this is a nice setup here. We never did get around to concreting this little pad here. So we've got this small area that we never ended up putting any concrete into. We thought what we were going to do is make a sump so that we could set the auger in, concrete it to that, but then we ended up getting this hammer mill, and that worked really good last year. And I would assume it's going to work good this year. So we're all set up and ready to go. But we're getting a little bit of a rain shower here now. And the sky is somewhat gray off to the west. And I'm not really too excited about getting started. We're completely ready to go. But I don't want to get 2 loads in this bunk and then have it rain for 3 days. We are supposed to get a couple days of rain, but I'd rather have a little more done and have it get wet than just a little bit and have it get wet. So We'll join back up with you here in a little while if we get the combine going here by the end of the day. Well, we're going to be to the field here in a minute after we get done climbing this bear of a hill. 5 or 6 years ago, maybe it was longer ago than that, we ended up tearing the hydro out of this combine on this hill. I've got a whole row of cars in behind me. Can't quite see them in the mirror there, but I've been getting a few people waving. The single finger wave on their way by, blowing the horns. Like, well, I wish I could go faster, but I can't. It is what it is. But if you want to go ahead and pull over in the field up here, we can talk about it. So we are actually going to be starting in the same field that we did last year. So I won't even have to put the drone up to get the first shot of combining around the field, because I already have that drone footage. The only difference is going to be that we have the 7290 on the grain buggy this year instead of the 7200. Sarah didn't really want to monkey around with the 7200 this year, and I didn't blame her. We've had some problems with that tractor here and there. Oh, there we go. Turn the four-wheel drive off. Four-wheel drive helps you climb these hills. It keeps you from having to shift this analog transmission down. This has got a 3-speed transmission in it, unlike the chopper, which has a Pro Drive, which you can get these combines in Pro Drive now too. But not this vintage combine. So the field that we're going to be pulling into is right up here on our right. We have a couple of trucks staged up here. And it is starting to drizzle a little rain. We're only going to do one load tonight, just to kind of make sure everything works the way it should. And then we'll get back at it fresh and early in the morning. So here's our pull off here. And maybe we can watch all of the cars drive by us here. So yeah, same field, same farm, all that stuff. So I gotta shift this old girl down into second gear. So we'll pull the hydrostat back to neutral, and we'll watch the cars go by. There. Look at all the cars. Oh, they are not happy with me. So I'm using the 4640 display, which I don't like in the combine because it doesn't work that great. I'm gonna actually switch over to 2630 here in the morning. We combined this field last year on the 13th of October. And, yeah. I'm in the wrong field, I think. There we go, right there, yeah. 13th of October last year at 6 p.m. at night, and it is 5:30 right now. So we're just gonna do one load, like I was saying. Engage the separator, engage the head, kick her up in the wide open. So this combine is in transport mode. See, you can run the brown box on here, but I don't really have any moisture reading or anything. Yield, moisture, there we go. So I've got the old Green Star display. There is a page for that, but I don't even know if it's going to record. It should record off of material going through the combine, but So here is the first bit of corn going in for 2021. Yeah, I don't think, this is not reading. No, it is reading. Yeah, there we go. 207, there you go, folks. 330 bushel. She's climbing. 310, 298, 332. So being that we're videoing this, and we gotta lie about all of our yield numbers here, we'll just keep that calibrated the way it's calibrated. I'm coming up with a moisture of 25. I don't know if that is accurate or not, but it's giving me a reading of 340 to 400 bushel. So I don't think that's right at all. We'll need to, of course, calibrate that. And I don't even think the moisture is correct as well. Now I'm getting 28 for moisture, and I'm down to 230 bushel to the acre. Maybe that calibration is wrong. Maybe this is 500 bushel corn. You know, you gotta exaggerate this out a little bit more than what it actually is here. But this is decent corn. I won't know what it yields until I get the whole field done. So that is, I guess, gonna do it for this video. I mean, you get kind of the idea of what's going on here. We're combining, and I probably should stop, do a little walk around. But I got my nephew in behind me. He's actually running the grain buggy. And he was gonna start walking behind the combine to see if we had any grain loss. We've got our settings dialed in pretty well. We always start with the same settings. And they're usually spot on. There you go, buddy. They're spot on all the time. So we're just gonna keep at it here, folks. That's gonna do it for this video. And I'm sure we're going to be able to milk this corn for all it's worth. We'll come at you with 10 or 15 videos, I'm sure, throughout the old harvest season. I don't know exactly how many acres I have to do, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1,200. So we're going to be at this for a little while. We are indeed going to be at this for a while. So take it easy, folks. We will be sure to come back at you with some more footage here of the old corn combining. Again, it's not going to be as extravagant as the chopping. The chopping's got a little more excitement that goes along with it, but when we grind our first load, we'll show you how the roller mill or the hammer mill's doing, and we'll show you that first load going into bunk. So take it easy, folks. Thanks for watching, and if you're still watching along with us, hit the thumbs up. Helps the old algorithm out. Take it easy, folks. We'll see ya. Alright, folks, so I decided to turn the camera back on here, and I did realize I was getting a little sarcastic here with the last couple of clips. We'll try to tone that down a little bit, but what you do have to understand is my vacation just started here. Just as soon as I started combining corn here. This is a lot easier than chopping. Again, it's only 6 rows. But I don't have trucks driving along beside me. You know, I don't have all that stress, if you will. So I'm gonna try to keep the sarcasm down to a dull roar here, if you will. this field is only 4 acres. It's not that long. I did not make it one time around. The moisture seems to be hitting towards 30, which is somewhat good. It started out at 25 along that north end by the road here, but the outside row right there would be a little bit drier than what we see in the middle. We need to calibrate the combine here. The calibration shouldn't be off all that much, but we're combining at 3.7 to 4 miles an hour. And as the corn's coming into the head, there's a lot of ears of corn there. The yield monitor was reading somewhere around 350, 360 on bushel, but my calculations were running about 282, judging by how much is coming through the head. Again, that is sarcasm. You don't actually know what your actual yield is until you weigh this. We can take this across our truck scale and figure out how many acres we've done and get an accurate reading that way. And we can also use the truck scale to more accurately calibrate the monitor here. This 4640, like I was saying, I really don't like it as much as the 2630 because it's got too much information for this combine. The controllers on this combine kind of have a hard time getting into this display here, but I am able to run the old Green Star display, and for the most part, that's the page you see here now. So we've got about, maybe 240 bushel on the grain buggy there, and that beeping noise is our grain tank full buzzer, and it's got just like a little plastic cup on it, and it gets raised up when the grain increases in the grain tank, which is right in behind us here, which you can't see inside because of the tarp that we have over the top of the bin here. But I've got to adjust that a little bit here. It's still stuck up in the air because that light's still on. So we're going to be approaching our first time around here, and now we're going to officially sign off from the video. So take it easy, folks. I will catch you at the next one. I hope you will too. And hit the thumbs up. Take her easy.